Hey, 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 everybody. Just, we're going live. I am I'm going live because I've got to talk about this. It's my personality that when something happens and I feel all this emotion popping up, I got to share it. I got to document it right away. And this is no different. So, um, let's get right into it. So, here's what happened. I spent some time. I spent some time checking out the channel answering Adventism with Miles. I It was my first dipping of the toe into his channel. Um, a number of you have recommended him, and I just hadn't looked into it. Um, but I did today. So let's address a couple things first. Wow. Wow, what a great page. Like it looks like a legit YouTube page. You know what I mean? I like he has cool graphics. Um he does a combination of live like what I'm doing right now and recorded snippets with all great editing. So that part is so great, so very, very eye-catching. Love it. He has a wide variety of topics. He does interviews. He does a lot of great stuff. Um, and I'm grinning only because like I compare it to mine. And what you have to understand is I just how do I say this? I ain't got that kind of time. Like I want to, I have responsibilities with my family and my house. I don't have that kind of time. Furthermore, there's TV to watch, and like, but he's clearly put so much time and effort into it, and I respect him, and I'm so grateful to him for doing that. So, if you're watching this later, Miles, my hat is off to you, brother. Bravo. The second thing I'll say is his knowledge his knowledge is so impressive. No doubt about it. His knowledge is so very, very impressive. Um, yeah, got nothing but respect for him. And I've done a little bit of research and understand, that his father is still a pastor to this day. Um, and I'm just so interested to know, like, what's that dynamic like? Because like my parents were Adventists. They kind of left when I left, but when I started to try to broach the topic of the Sabbath with them, it was hitting a wall. So if somebody's leaving Adventism like my parents did and I did, and we're having conversations about it, and we're not agreeing, how is it where Miles can leave, his dad can stay, and like everything just goes well? Like I mean, like I'd be so interested to know what the dynamic there is. But anyhow, so I spent some time today, and I'm the kind of guy when I get to a channel where I see a recent video of somebody's, what my gut is like I want to see from the beginning. I want to see like what your because for instance, there is another channel that I follow. It's a fishing channel with I can't Fluke Master Gene Jensen, and I can't think of the name of his channel right now. But I went back, and he has just like thousands of video, I think. And so I've gone back to the very first one, and it's like 7 or 8 years ago. And it's so cool to see the very first videos and then see where they are today. And you can see like the evolution. But like when I'm looking at Miles, like the earliest one is like 5 months ago. And that is in no way a dig, because what's amazing is like, if you look at like how many people subscribe to Intoxicated by Grace, it's like 800 and something. Okay. And I've had posts on here for a few years. Miles has been on it for like 5 months, and he's at like 2000 and something, which speaks clearly to the quality and the good content that he's bringing. This is in no way being critical of him. That is amazing what he's doing. So, but what I did was I went back to the earlier ones, and I basically start at the very end and I start working my way back. I could only get 3 deep. Okay. And when I got to the third one, which is on my other screen here, it is the heated debate between a Seventh-day Adventist pastor and a Christian. And in the chat, I'm posting the link to that video. I was really, I have anxiety. Okay, I have anxiety because I'm like, like you guys might think like Scott loves to fight with people. Once I'm in the middle of it, yeah, you're probably right, I do. But prior to an argument, like I have all kind of anxiety because I just don't have confidence in myself, meaning like they're going to blow me away. They're going to present this text that I'm just not prepared for, and I'm going to look a fool. Like, so like when I'm watching this video, I'm thinking, I couldn't do that. I could not. Like it's a very structured and formatted video that they do. I just couldn't do it. Like it would cause me too much anxiety. And just so you'll know, I'd love for you guys to run over there and watch it if you haven't already. But it is the debate between Miles and this current Adventist pastor, which I want to talk about in a second. And the topic is so important. The topic is when we look at the Day of Atonement, who is the scapegoat? Because in Adventism, I had taught it myself that in Adventism we believed, and I'll say this to you right now, when I taught it as an elder, when I taught it, it never clicked. Why? It was the only thing I had ever known. I had never known any other way. And the way Adventist explained it was there are the 2 goats that are presented. You toss the dice, whichever one it falls to is that one and this one. And so all of a sudden, you put your hands on the second one to transfer all the sins of the people, and then you take it out of the camp. And as an Adventist, we always believed and taught that represented Lucifer. Holy cow! It is only after I left. It's only after I left Adventism that I became aware of like, hold on, what's the problem with that? I never understood that. And I haven't really looked at that teaching in years. Haven't looked at that teaching in years. As I've said on here before, the books of Daniel and Revelation, I don't even go into it. I'm like, I'm scarred, man. I'm scarred. So, but this conversation, this debate is between Miles, who represents the Christian or Protestant position on that, and the other guy, Keith, he's presenting the Adventist. And what I'll say is, if you're not an Adventist, if you're not a former Adventist, if you've not had much experience with an Adventist, and you want to see what's it like to debate an Adventist, perfect example. It is a perfect example of what it's like to debate an Adventist, because what Miles has said multiple times in his videos that I've seen, and I believe he said it today, is that Adventists will use Christian terminology, but they have a different definition. They will use Christian terminology, but they will use a different definition. And you can see that here. Remember, I've said this before, that to me, words matter. Well, to the Adventists, they're choosing their words very carefully too. What's so great? What's so great about watching this debate is because, and this is what kills the Adventists every time. You're not going to get over on Miles, because Miles was an Adventist. If you're having this conversation with a Baptist, if you're having this conversation with a Presbyterian, if you're having the conversation with a Catholic, they don't know all the intricacies about Adventism that Adventists don't really want to talk about. And so that's why, boy, of everybody for Keith to debate this topic, Miles was the wrong one. Now, I don't doubt for one second that Keith came in thinking he was ready. He wasn't. He wasn't. And I'm going to say something to you right now. It's the ending of their debate that in my mind was perfection, because it allows you to see where the Adventist wants to be a victim. Okay. Because the Keith tells the moderator, Marlon, he tells him, well, the reason we don't do this is because you guys tell us that we're not Christian, and da, 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 da. And Miles can't even get it out of his mouth, but he says, you guys tell us that all Protestants are apostate. So you want to scream that we're apostate, but if we should dare say that your theology is not truly Christian, oh, we can't debate you. Meanwhile, Miles referenced another debate that he'd had on here, um, with another Adventist. And at least he said, at least that Adventist said, yes, I do view you as a Protestant as apostate. I can at least respect that. And this is something that's very near and dear to my heart, is that I need Adventists to own what they actually believe. And it might make them uncomfortable, but you have to own it. And that's what Miles did in here. In this closing section, he made that guy, Keith, realize. Now, here's the crazy dynamic. You ready for this? Remember, I told you Miles' dad is still an Adventist pastor. This guy, Keith is Miles' father's assistant pastor. What? Yes. So Miles is having an argument with a guy who teaches right beside Miles' father. Like what? It was like that scene out of Return of the Jedi. I am your father. It was like this crazy moment when I found that out. But my hat is off to Miles. He handled this debate like he interrupted at times. He did roll his eyes. I could see him going. I could see I could see the anxiety and like all the frustration he was feeling. And here's all I can say. No way I could have done it. You guys know me. You've seen my videos. You hear how animated I get. There's no way my personality, I could have been that calm, cool, and collected. No way. So this whole video is to say, if you have not been over to Answering Adventism, I cannot recommend it enough. Go over there, subscribe, like the videos, watch them. Yeah, they're really, really good. And yeah, I just had to get that out there. It was really, really great. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God bless you guys, and we will see you next time.